Alright, architecture students, we finished with the foundation and slabs, and it's ready to move on to our roof. So we're going to try to make our roof as simple as possible. First thing we're going to do is in the architecture tab, we are going to go ahead and click on roof. Now, when the roof comes up, we're going to get generally some kind of generic basic roof that we can throw on. What we're going to do is we're going to create another roof, and you can just edit one of the ones that are available. And we are going to actually edit the structure. So you can kind of pause the video here and you can create this structure. Essentially, we're going to have a wood joist or rafter layer. That's going to be our uprights that are created. And then we have our plywood sheathing, which goes on top of it. And then we'll have a few other materials that are a little bit thinner that I'm not placing in here. It's just for convenience. And the finish is just going to be some asphalt shingles. So you want to create these layers with these thicknesses. Please feel free to pause the video and write those down. Okay, so once you create your basic roof, it should be roughly around 8 3/8 of an inch. We are going to now start to actually place this around our house. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our roof is going to be on the top of the first level. We don't want to put this on top of the floor, or it would be inside the house. So we're going to go top of the first level, and we are going to pick walls. And essentially, for your overhang, generally what I found is 1 foot looks pretty good on this house after some messing around. So we're going to create 1 foot overhang. But actually, before we do any of that, you created the roof. What we want to do, let me just go back here for a second. You want to go to your top of your floor, and we're going to make this a little bit easier. We need to align 2 walls so we don't get some kind of crazy output. So what we want to do is in the when we select a wall here, in the modify wall panel that comes up, we want to align. And we want to align the outside of this wall with the outside of the garage wall. And we can lock that into place. This is going to make it much easier for us to actually create our house here. Okay, so we have this. Now we can go back and actually create a roof. So create a roof, make sure we have this correct roof. We're going to have an overhang of 1 foot on all sides. Generally works pretty nice. And the one thing we're going to do is we're going to come back and define the slope a little bit later on to make this easy. We are going to create a gable roof over the majority of the house. And then we're going to have a kind of a combination or another gable out here in the front that kind of acts like a dormer. So I'm going to have select walls. I'm going to make sure my overhang is 1 foot. Don't have define slope or extend wall core added on. And you're just going to put your cursor over each wall. Now, depending on what side of the wall you are on, you'll see a dotted blue or cyan line. You want to make sure that that line is on the outside. So we're just going to go around, and we are going to select the outsides, and you can see here that I particularly skipped these 3 walls. We're going to come back and do that in a little bit. So once we have those walls selected, what we're going to do next is I'm actually going to delete this wall, and I'm going to go to the trim extend to corner, and I'm going to add those together. So we get this little shape. Next, what we want to do is we want to have certain sides have slopes and other sides not have slopes. Essentially, we want gable ends open here and right here. So that means we want this wall, and I'm going to hold Control. You can see here I get the little plus symbol if I hold Control on the keyboard, and I'm going to select this wall because I want these 2 to have slopes. I want this one to have slope. So I'm going to have 3 walls. I'm going to go over and I am going to select Define Roof Slope in the Properties, and I'm going to change the slope, and you can mess around with it. I like 6/12 pitches. Once I do that and I apply, you can see here it adds this little triangle onto each end, creating a slope all the way through. So first what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK, and I'm going to check out what I have. You can see here that that didn't work out. It went to the top of the floor. You need to go top of the first level. Okay, so looks okay right now. It's not too bad. Sure, there's a little clipping right here which we can end up getting rid of. so it doesn't go in that house or into the room. If you actually look closely, it might come through the roof or to the ceiling, which it does, but we can get rid of that. So we've got our main roof that goes all the way across. Next, what we're going to do is go ahead and draw in our front roof. So I'm going to go back to the top of my first level, and I'm going to draw another roof. And this time I'm going to draw a roof around here. So I'm going to select this wall, this wall, this wall. I'm actually just going to draw a line to connect those two so we have a little square. It's going to look funky, but don't worry. And we're going to select these two lines, and this we're going to define roof slope, change that to 6/12 and hit apply. Hit OK, and we're going to see what we've got. Alright, so again, we can see that there's some gaps, but we can fix that relatively easy. Alright, so here we go. We've got our gaps, and now we're just going to go ahead and join up our roofs. So we're going to select one of our roofs, and in the geometry, you want to be careful here. There is a join, but it's not what we want. Instead, we want up here this join on join roof. We're going to select that, and it asks us to select an edge at the end of a roof that you wish to join or on join. So I want to select this edge, and I want to join it to this face. So when that happens, it joins those two roofs, and it kind of gets rid of any unpleasantries over there. So I'm going to kind of just look. I can see that my roof is still coming through right here. I can actually go back and I can edit that out or change it relatively easily. So let me select that. I'm going to go to the first level, edit the footprint, and I'm just going to draw some lines up and over. And I want to get rid of this section right here. So I want to make sure I just split that element right there, and I can grab this, move it over to that section. So let's see if that caused any major errors for me. I might have some funkiness right here. So if I got some of that funkiness, I just need to actually cut out more of the shape. So okay, so I went ahead and fixed that. I'll show you real quick how I fixed that. Instead of making a square, I just used the profile of the roof that was created, drew a line, I split the element so I could get rid of what was in between, or I trimmed. And when I finished that, you could see that we had a much nicer looking roof that doesn't come all the way down and interfere with our ceiling here. So here's our roof, looking pretty good so far. The last thing that we need to do is, you see there are some gaps between our walls and our roof. So this becomes pretty easy. All we need to do is actually just go around and select our walls. We are going to avoid this one for right now because it's got a weird kind of gap right there. So we're going to select that. We've selected all the way around, and when you select all those walls, we can go ahead and hit attach to top base, and we can tell it to attach to our roof. And it says that some of the highlighted walls miss. We're just going to hit OK, and we're going to take a look. So we got over there, we got over there. Looks okay. This one's a little funky. We're going to have to figure out about that one here in a little bit. Alright, so in the spirit of making this easy, we're just going to go ahead and grab this line, and we're going to pull it until it lines up with the outer wall. Should snap to it. After playing around, that seemed to be one of the best options, so I just select OK, and as you can see there, it takes that roof all the way over. That one only comes to the edge of the wall, which is fine. We'd have gutters there that give it a little overhang as well. So there we go. Very simple roof. You guys went through some gables, some editing, some wall profiles to make sure some stuff fits in, and creating a gable over the front door.